Pain shot through Owen Reed's shoulder as he crashed against cold stone. His eyes snapped open to complete darkness. The last thing he remembered was his cargo ship spinning out of control after the patrol vessels fired on him. Now he was somewhere else entirely. He pushed himself up slowly, testing each limb for breaks. His right arm throbbed, but nothing felt broken. The air around him was hot and smelled like burnt metal. As his eyes adjusted, he could make out massive walls stretching up into shadow. This was no ordinary cell. The space was huge, maybe 50 feet across and twice as high. Owen's hand found his belt and he breathed relief. His emergency kit was still there. The guards, whoever they were, had not searched him properly. He pulled out a small light stick and cracked it. Pale green light spread across the chamber. What he saw made his blood run cold. Bones covered the floor. Not human bones. These belonged to creatures he had never seen before. Some were tiny, others were massive. All of them were scorched black. Deep claw marks gouged the walls. Whatever lived here was big and dangerous. A low sound rumbled through the darkness. It came from the far corner where his light could not reach. Owen's survival instincts kicked in. He had grown up on Faro Station, a mining colony where the strong preyed on the weak. His father had taught him one rule: stay calm or die fast. He did not run. He did not shout. Instead, he moved slowly to the nearest wall and sat down with his back against it. From his kit, he pulled out antiseptic and bandages. His shoulder needed attention. The rumbling grew louder. Something was moving in the shadows. Owen kept his hands steady as he cleaned his wound. He had survived 12 years hauling cargo through the worst parts of space. He had talked his way out of pirate raids and navigated through asteroid fields that killed better pilots. Whatever was in here with him, he would face it. A massive head emerged from the darkness. Green scales caught the light from his stick. Eyes like molten gold fixed on him. The creature was enormous. Its body uncoiled from the shadows, revealing wings folded tight against its sides. A dragon. Owen had heard stories about them, but never believed they were real. The dragon moved closer. Each step shook the floor. Owen could see a wound on its side, a deep gash that oozed dark blood. The flesh around it looked swollen and wrong. That was an infected wound if he had ever seen one. The dragon stopped 10 feet away. It tilted its head, studying him. Owen noticed something in those golden eyes. Not mindless hunger, intelligence. This creature was thinking. "You are small," the dragon said. Its voice was deep and feminine, like distant thunder. The others they put in here were larger. "You will die quickly." Owen finished bandaging his shoulder. "Maybe, but not from you." The dragon's eyes narrowed. Bold words for prey. "I am not prey." Owen kept his voice steady. "And you are hurt. That wound on your side is infected. You have had it for a while." Silence filled the chamber. The dragon seemed confused by his words. Finally, it spoke again. "What do you care about my wound?" Owen pulled out the rest of his medical supplies. They were not much. Basic antiseptic, bandages, and pain medication designed for humans. But infection was infection, no matter the species. "I grew up in a place where everyone had to help each other or we all died," Owen said. "I have seen infected wounds before. That one will kill you eventually if you do not treat it." The dragon made a sound like grinding rocks. It took Owen a moment to realize she was laughing. "A human offering to heal me. I have been in this prison for 3 years. No one has ever offered me anything but pain." "I am Owen," he said simply. "What do they call you?" Another long silence. Then the dragon moved closer. The light from his stick illuminated her fully now. She was beautiful in a terrifying way. Scars covered her scales. Her wings had tears in the membranes. This was a creature that had suffered. "Ashir," she said finally. "My name is Ashir." Owen stood up slowly, holding the medical kit. "Ashir, I do not know if human medicine will work on you, but I am willing to try if you let me look at that wound." Ashir stared at him for a long moment. Owen could see the conflict in her eyes. Every instinct probably told her to crush him. But something held her back. Maybe it was curiosity. Maybe it was desperation. Maybe it was just exhaustion from being alone for so long. "Why?" Ashir asked. "Why would you help me? You do not know me. I could kill you right now." Owen met her gaze without flinching. "Yes, you could. But you have not. That tells me something. And where I come from, we judge people by what they do, not what they could do." Ashir lowered her massive head slightly. It was not quite a nod, but it was acceptance. She moved to her side, exposing the wound. Up close, it looked worse than Owen had thought. The gash was deep and the infection had spread. This would not be easy, Owen approached carefully. His hands were steady as he opened his kit. "This is going to hurt," he warned. "Pain is an old friend," Ashir replied. As Owen began to clean the wound, neither of them noticed the cameras hidden in the walls. Neither of them knew that guards were watching with shock and confusion. For the first time in the history of this prison, a creature had entered Ashir's cell and not died within minutes. Something impossible was happening, and the prison warden was already making plans. Ashir's muscles tensed as Owen's hands touched the infected wound. She had not led anyone this close in years. Every instinct screamed at her to bite, to burn, to destroy. But she held perfectly still. The human worked with surprising gentleness. His fingers probed the edges of the gash carefully. He made small sounds as he examined it. The kind of sounds healers made when they found problems. Ashir knew those sounds. Before her imprisonment, she had heard them many times. "How did this happen?" Owen asked. He poured liquid from a small bottle onto a cloth. "Shock lance," Ashir said. "The guards used it when I refused to fight in their arena." "The weapon burns as it cuts," Owen paused. "You refuse to fight?" "I refuse to kill for their entertainment." Ashir's voice carried old anger. "They wanted me to tear apart other prisoners while rich spectators watched and bet on the outcomes. I said no." The cloth touched her wound and Ashir hissed. The liquid burned worse than fire. Her claws scraped against stone, but she did not pull away. Owen kept working, cleaning out the infection with steady hands. "So they just left you in here to rot," Owen said quietly. "They hoped isolation would break me. 3 years alone in this cell. 3 years of silence except for the screams of other prisoners in distant chambers." Ashir closed her eyes. "Every few months they would throw another prisoner in here. Usually they attacked me immediately. Sometimes they tried to hide. It made no difference. I killed them all." Owen stopped cleaning the wound. "You did not want to kill them, it was not a question. Somehow this human understood." Ashir opened her eyes and looked at him. "No, I did not want to. But they gave me no choice. They came at me with fear and violence. I defended myself. And the guards watched," Owen said. He resumed his work, applying medicine to the wound now. "They probably enjoyed it." "Yes." The word came out as a growl. They fell into silence. Owen finished treating the wound and wrapped it with bandages. The material was not made for dragons, but he made it work. His hands moved with practiced efficiency. Ashir realized he had done this many times before. "You have treated wounds like this," she observed. Owen sat back and looked at his work. On Faro Station, accidents happened every day. Mining equipment fails. Support beams collapse. People get hurt. My father was a medic in the colony. He taught me everything he knew before he died in a tunnel collapse. I am sorry for your loss." Owen shrugged. "It was a long time ago. I was 15. After that, I took care of others in the colony until I saved enough to buy my own ship and leave." Ashir studied this small human. He was nothing special to look at. Average height for his species, lean build, brown hair, and green eyes. His clothes were worn and patched. But there was something in the way he carried himself. A quiet strength that had nothing to do with physical power. "Why were you captured?" Ashir asked. "Wrong place, wrong time." Owen pulled out a ration bar from his kit and broke it in half. He offered one piece to Ashir. "My ship's navigation system failed near a restricted zone. I was trying to fix it when patrol vessels appeared. They thought I was a spy or a smuggler. Started firing without asking questions. My ship crashed on their prison transport." Ashir sniffed the ration bar cautiously. It smelled strange, but not dangerous. She took it carefully with her front teeth, making sure not to bite his hand. The food was dry and tasteless, but it was the first thing anyone had offered her in 3 years. "Their system classified you wrong," Ashir said after swallowing. "I heard the guards talking. They think you are a Class 9 predator species. That is why they put you in here with me." Owen laughed. It was a tired sound. "Class 9? Humans are barely Class 3 at best. We are not even the strongest species on our own planet. Then why did you not fear me when you woke up?" Owen ate his half of the ration bar slowly. "Fear does not help. My father taught me that too. When something dangerous is in front of you, fear makes you do stupid things. Clear thinking keeps you alive." Ashir laid her head down on the stone floor. The pain in her side was already less than before. The medicine was working. "You are a strange human, Owen Reed. I get that a lot. Owen leaned back against the wall. Can I ask you something? Ask. Why did you really refuse to fight in their arena? You could have killed whoever they put in front of you. You could have earned better treatment. Maybe even freedom. Asher was quiet for a long time. The question touched something deep inside her. A wound that medicine could not heal. I was a soldier once, she said finally. I fought in the border wars between my people and the Warden expansion forces. I burned enemy ships and killed enemy soldiers. I was good at it. Too good. She paused, remembering. Then one day my commanders ordered me to burn a civilian transport. They said it was carrying weapons. I could see inside with my enhanced vision. It was carrying families, children. I refused the order. They court-martialed me and sold me to the Wardens as payment for a peace treaty. Owen said nothing. He just listened. I swore that day I would never kill for someone else's entertainment or politics again, Ashir continued, even if it meant rotting in this cell forever. Some things are worth more than freedom. Principles, Owen said softly. Yes. Principles. They sat together in the dim light. Neither spoke for a while. There was an understanding between them now. They were both prisoners who had sacrificed everything rather than abandon their values. High above them, cameras recorded everything. In a control room, guards whispered in confusion. In 3 years, Ashir had killed every cellmate within minutes. But this human had been in the cell for hours, and both of them were still alive. Commandant Brevik watched the screens with calculating eyes. He saw something valuable here. Something he could use. He reached for his communication panel and contacted his superiors. In the cell below, Owen and Ashir had no idea that their act of simple kindness was about to change both their fates. Owen woke to a sound he had never heard before, a high-pitched whine that made his teeth ache. Energy barriers appeared in the cell, glowing blue lines that herded him and Ashir toward a newly opened passage in the wall. What is happening? Owen scrambled to his feet. Ashir rose with a growl. The arena. They are taking us to the arena. The barriers gave them no choice. They moved through the passage into a tunnel lit by harsh white lights. The tunnel sloped upward. Owen could hear sounds ahead. Thousands of voices chattering in languages he did not understand. The tunnel opened into blinding brightness. Owen shielded his eyes as they stepped onto sand. When his vision cleared, his stomach dropped. They stood in the center of a massive arena. Rows of seats rose up on all sides, filled with alien spectators. Hundreds of different species, all watching them with eager anticipation. A voice boomed across the space. It spoke in the common galactic language that Owen barely understood. Distinguished guests, today we present a special exhibition. The human who tamed the untamable dragon. Let us see if their bond survives when tested. Ashir moved closer to Owen. Stay near me. Do not run. Owen had no plans to run. He scanned the arena quickly. The walls were too high to climb. The sand was deep and would slow movement. No weapons anywhere in sight. Not good. Commandant Breivik's face appeared on massive screens around the arena. He was a tall alien with gray skin and cold eyes. Human, you have survived 3 days with the dragon Ashir. Most impressive. Now we will see if you can fight beside her, or if she will finally remember what she truly is. Gates opened on opposite sides of the arena. 2 creatures burst out. They looked like massive insects, each one 12 feet tall with blade-like arms and armored shells. Their mandibles clicked together as they spotted Owen and Ashir. Kresh Ravagers, Ashir said. Her voice was tight. They are fast and their shells are nearly impenetrable. The Ravagers charged. The crowd roared with excitement. Owen's mind raced. 2 opponents, both larger and stronger than him. Ashir could probably kill them, but she was still healing. The wound on her side would slow her down. They needed a plan, and they needed it now. Can you breathe fire? Owen asked quickly. Yes, but not for long. I am weak from hunger and injury. The Ravagers were halfway across the arena. 20 seconds until impact. Listen carefully, Owen said, his voice calm despite the danger. I will draw them to me. When they attack, aim for the joints where their legs connect to their bodies. That is where the shell is weakest. You will die. Not if you are fast. There was no time to argue. Owen ran left, away from Ashir. He shouted and waved his arms, making himself the obvious target. The Ravagers changed direction instantly, both focusing on the smaller prey. Ashir watched in horror as the creatures closed in on Owen. Every instinct told her to protect him. But she trusted his plan. She had to trust it. Owen waited until the last possible second. The first Ravager swung its blade arm at him. He dropped and rolled, feeling the razor edge pass inches above his back. Sand sprayed everywhere. He came up running, leading both creatures in a circle. Now Ashir, the one on the right. Ashir moved. Despite her injury, she was still a dragon. She covered the distance in seconds and unleashed a stream of fire at the Ravager's leg joints. The creature shrieked as flames found the weak points Owen had identified. Its leg collapsed and it crashed into the sand. The second Ravager turned to face Ashir. That was its mistake. Owen grabbed a handful of sand and threw it at the creature's eyes. It was a desperate move, but it worked. The Ravager flinched and twisted its head away. Other side, same spot. Owen shouted. Ashir hit the second Ravager's legs with another burst of fire. This one fell harder, its shell cracking as it hit the ground. Both creatures thrashed in the sand but could not stand. The arena fell silent. The crowd had expected to see the human torn apart. They had expected the dragon to either defend herself alone or ignore her cellmate completely. No one had expected perfect coordination. Owen stood panting in the center of the arena. Ashir moved to his side. They faced the crowd together, neither of them injured. The two Ravagers lay disabled behind them. Brevik's face appeared on the screens again. He was not smiling. "Remarkable," he said slowly. "Absolutely remarkable." Ashir leaned close to Owen. "What have we done?" Owen understood her fear. They had just shown the Wardens exactly what they wanted to see. A human and a dragon working together as a perfect team. They had not just survived. They had won decisively. "We survived," Owen said quietly.
"That is all that matters right now." Guards entered the arena with weapons drawn.
The energy barriers activated again, forcing Owen and Ashir back toward the tunnel. The crowd began to cheer and chant. They wanted more blood, more entertainment, but Breivik had other plans. As they walked back through the tunnel, Owen noticed Ashir was limping. The fighting had reopened her wound. He would need to treat it again when they got back to the cell, but they did not go back to the cell. The guards separated them at a junction in the tunnel. Energy barriers slammed down between them. Ashir roared and threw herself against the barrier, but it held strong. "Owen!" Her voice echoed through the passage. "Ashir!" Owen tried to run back, but guards grabbed him. They were strong, and he could not break free. He watched helplessly as they dragged Ashir down one tunnel while others forced him in the opposite direction. Her roars faded into the distance. A guard spoke in broken human language. "You go to Research Wing now. They want to study you. Want to know how human make dragon obey?" Owen's blood ran cold. He fought harder, but the guards had him locked tight. They pulled him through doorways and corridors until they reached a stark white room filled with medical equipment. A scientist waited there. She was tall and thin with multiple arms. Her eyes studied Owen like he was an interesting specimen. "Welcome, human," she said in perfect human language. "My name is Dr. Salin. You are going to help us understand something very important. How to control dragons." Owen said nothing. His mind was already working on escape plans. He had to get back to Ashir. But as the guard strapped him to a medical table and Dr. Salin approached with scanning equipment, Owen realized escape was not going to be easy. White lights burned into Owen's eyes. He had lost track of time. The tests seemed endless. Dr. Salin and her team had scanned every part of him. They took blood samples and measured his reactions to different stimuli. They asked questions about his relationship with Ashir. Owen answered the harmless questions and stayed silent on the important ones. He was exhausted, but he could not show weakness. Not here. Dr. Salin studied a data screen with her multiple eyes. "Fascinating. Your stress hormones decrease when we show you images of the dragon Ashir. Most species show increased stress around apex predators, but you have bonded with her. She has a name," Owen said. "Use it." The doctor tilted her head. "You defend her even here. Your species' capacity for cross-species bonding is extraordinary. Human pack instincts extend even to creatures that could kill you easily. Maybe that is why we survive," Owen said. Dr. Salin made notes. "The Wardens have tried for decades to weaponize dragons. They are powerful, intelligent, and nearly indestructible in combat. But dragons resist control. They would rather die than serve. We have lost dozens of handlers who tried to dominate them." She turned to face Owen directly. "But you did not try to dominate Ashir. You treated her wound. You shared your food. You fought beside her as an equal, and she responded. For the first time, we have seen a dragon willingly cooperate with another species. Owen's stomach twisted. He finally understood what they wanted. You want to use humans to control dragons. Turn them into weapons. Not control, partner. Dr. Sallin pulled up footage on a screen. It showed other dragons in cells throughout the facility. All of them were alone. All of them looked broken. These dragons are suffering. They refuse to work with us. They refuse food. Many have tried to kill themselves. But if humans can bond with them, we could end their suffering and gain powerful allies for the Warden forces. Allies? Owen's voice was sharp. You mean slaves? You want to break them and use them for war. Dr. Sallin's expression did not change. War is coming. The Outer Rim factions are growing stronger. The Wardens need every advantage. Dragons could save millions of lives. By taking away their freedom? They have no freedom here already. At least this way they would have purpose, companionship. Owen closed his eyes. The logic was twisted, but he could see how the Wardens justified it to themselves. They were not the first government to sacrifice individual rights for collective security. They would not be the last. What happens to Ashir? Owen asked. She is being transferred to a conditioning facility tomorrow. There, trainers will attempt to make her more compliant. The process is unpleasant but necessary. Torture, Owen said flatly. You mean torture? Dr. Sallin did not deny it. You could prevent that. Agree to work with us. We will pair you with Ashir officially. You will both be treated well, fed properly, given comfortable quarters. All you have to do is demonstrate the bonding process with other humans and dragons. Owen thought about Ashir alone in a cell, being hurt by trainers trying to break her spirit. He thought about the other dragons suffering in isolation. He thought about what his father would have said. His father had a saying, the easy path usually leads to the wrong place. No, Owen said. Dr. Sallin's shoulders sagged slightly. I was afraid you would say that. You should know that Brevik has already contacted your homeworld. He is requesting more humans for the program. Whether you cooperate or not, this will happen. Cold dread filled Owen's chest. More humans would come. They would be promised good jobs, good pay. They would not know the truth until it was too late. The Wardens would build an army of human-dragon pairs and no one would be able to stop them, unless someone warned Earth first. When do the humans arrive? Owen asked carefully. 2 months. Brevik is being careful. He wants to perfect the process first. Dr. Sallin began packing away her equipment. You will be kept here for observation. Your meals will be provided. I suggest you reconsider your decision. The guards released Owen from the medical table and moved him to a small cell. It had a bed, a toilet, and nothing else. The door sealed behind him with a hiss of compressed air. Owen sat on the bed and put his head in his hands. He had to do something, but what? He was one person locked in a research facility on an alien world. He had no weapons, no allies, and no way to communicate with anyone outside. He thought about Ashir. Was she thinking about him too? Did she believe he had abandoned her? The thought hurt worse than any physical pain. Hours passed. A slot in the door opened and food appeared. Owen ate mechanically. He needed to keep his strength up. As night cycle began and the lights dimmed, Owen heard something. A low sound that vibrated through the walls. He pressed his ear against the cold metal and listened. It was a roar. No, not a roar. It was something else. A sound that resonated at a frequency that made his bones ache. The sound was coming from multiple directions. Multiple sources. Owen realized what he was hearing. Dragons. All the dragons in the facility were making this sound together, and he knew exactly who had started it. Ashir was calling to the others. She was telling them she was not alone anymore. She was telling them that change was possible. The sound grew louder. Somewhere in the facility, alarms began to blare. Guards ran through the corridors outside Owen's cell. Voices shouted in panic. Owen smiled. Ashir had not given up. She was fighting in the only way she could right now, and she was reminding him that he should not give up either. He looked around his cell with new eyes. The door was sealed, but the ventilation system was not. The walls were metal, but they had seams. Everything built by hands could be taken apart by hands. Owen had 2 months before more humans arrived. 2 months to find a way out of this cell. 2 months to reach Ashir. 2 months to stop the Wardens from enslaving both their species. It was not much time, but it would have to be enough. He got to work examining the ventilation grate. Outside, the dragon calls continued through the night. For the first time in years, the dragons of the prison were not alone. The dragon calls shook the entire facility for 3 straight days. The guards tried everything to stop it. They flooded the cells with sleeping gas. They blasted loud sounds. They threatened the dragons with shock weapons. Nothing worked. On the 4th day, Dr. Salin came to Owen's cell. She looked exhausted. Her multiple eyes were dim and her movements were slow. "This is your fault," she said through the door speaker. "Asher is leading them. She has never done this before. You changed her." "Good," Owen replied. He was tired too, but felt stronger than he had in days. The dragon calls gave him hope. Dr. Salin was quiet for a moment. Then she did something unexpected. She entered the cell alone. No guards accompanied her. Owen stood carefully. This could be a trap. "I need to show you something," Dr. Salin said. She held up a data pad. "But if anyone discovers I showed you this, they will kill me, possibly torture me first. Why take the risk? Because I have watched the security footage from your cell hundreds of times. I have seen how you treated Asher. I have seen kindness that I thought no longer existed in this facility." Dr. Salin's voice cracked. "I have been working here for 8 years. I have watched dragons suffer and die. I told myself it was necessary, that science required sacrifice. But you have made me question everything." She activated the data pad. It showed a map of the facility. "There are 7 dragons imprisoned here, including Asher. The wardens have 14 more in facilities across 3 planets. All of them are being starved and tortured to break their will." Owen stared at the map, memorizing every detail. "Tomorrow night, Commandant Brevik is transferring Asher to the conditioning facility. It is on another planet. Once she is there, you will never see her again. The conditioning process has a 90% fatality rate." Owen's hands clenched into fists. "Tell me what I need to do." Dr. Salin pulled a small device from her pocket. "This contains access codes to the facility energy barriers. I can give you a 90-second window where the barriers will fail, but 90 seconds only. After that, the backup systems activate and lockdown protocols engage." "Why 90 seconds?" "Because that is the longest I can make it look like a system malfunction, rather than sabotage." She held out the device. "If you do this, people will die. Guards are just following orders. Many have families." Owen took the device. "The dragons are just trying to survive. They have families too. Or they did before the wardens took everything from them." Dr. Salin nodded slowly. "The transfer happens at midnight during shift change. Security will be lighter. When the barriers fail, you will have one chance. Get to the hangar bay, there are transport ships there." "What about you?" "I will stay. Someone needs to delete the security footage and send evidence of what the wardens have done here to the Galactic Council. I have been collecting proof for months." She turned to leave, then paused. "Owen, there are 300 guards in this facility. You are one human. Even with the dragons, the odds are not good." "I know." "Then why do it?" Owen thought about his father trapped under collapsed rock, dying slowly in the dark. He thought about the other miners who had dug for 3 days straight to reach him. They knew the odds were bad. They dug anyway. "Because someone has to," Owen said simply. Dr. Salin left without another word. The door sealed behind her. Owen looked at the device in his hand. It was small and simple, just a button and a timer. Tomorrow night, that button would either save them all or get them all killed. The next day dragged endlessly. Owen forced himself to eat and rest. He would need all his strength. When guards came to deliver his evening meal, they mentioned the transfer. They were excited about it. Asher had caused too many problems. They would be glad when she was gone. Owen said nothing. He ate his meal and waited. Midnight approached. Owen stood by the door with the device ready. His heart pounded, but his hands were steady. He had spent his whole life preparing for moments like this without knowing it. Every cargo run through dangerous space. Every time he talked his way past pirates. Every wound he had treated in emergency situations. All of it led here. The device beeped. Time to move. Owen pressed the button. Somewhere in the facility, energy barriers flickered and died. He heard shouts of confusion from guards. Alarms began to wail. His cell door clicked and slid open. The corridor outside was chaos. Other prisoners were escaping from their cells. Guards rushed everywhere, trying to contain the situation. Owen ran toward the dragon holding area. He had memorized the path from Dr. Sallen's map. An explosion rocked the facility, then another. The dragons were breaking free. Owen rounded a corner and nearly crashed into a guard. The alien raised his weapon, but Owen was faster. He grabbed the guard's arm and twisted. The weapon clattered to the floor. Owen picked it up and kept running. He did not want to shoot anyone, but he would if necessary. Another explosion. This one was closer. The wall ahead of him burst apart in a shower of debris. A massive dragon head pushed through the gap. Golden eyes found him. Ashir! The dragon pulled herself through the wall. She was magnificent and terrible. Her scales gleamed in the emergency lights. Her wound had reopened and blood dripped from her side, but she did not seem to notice. Owen. Her voice was relief and rage combined. I heard you were here. I am breaking everyone out. I know. We have 70 seconds left before backup systems activate. Owen climbed onto her back. It felt natural, like he had done it 1,000 times before. The hangar bay. We need ships. Ashir launched into motion. They crashed through corridors with 5 other dragons following behind. Guards fired weapons, but the dragon scales deflected most shots. Owen used the stolen weapon to take out control panels and door locks, clearing their path. They reached the hangar with 15 seconds to spare. Massive ships filled the space. Owen spotted the controls for the bay doors. Get everyone ready to fly. He jumped down and ran to the control panel. That was when Commandant Breivik appeared with 50 armed guards. They formed a wall between the dragons and the bay doors. Breivik held a device of his own. Stop now, Breivik commanded, or I detonate the facility self-destruct. Everyone dies. Owen stood frozen at the control panel. Behind him, 6 dragons growled low and dangerous. Ashir was the closest, her body tense and ready to strike. 50 guards aimed their weapons with trembling hands. Everyone knew that one wrong move would end in a bloodbath. Breivik held the detonator higher. I will do it, human. I would rather destroy this facility than let the Warden's most valuable assets escape. We are not assets, Ashir snarled. We are living beings. You are property of the Galactic Warden forces, Breivik replied coldly. Expensive property that took years to acquire. Owen's mind raced. The detonator was real. Breivik's finger rested on the trigger. If fighting started, the Commandant would press it out of spite if nothing else. Hundreds of prisoners were still in their cells throughout the facility. They would all die. But surrender meant going back to torture and slavery. It meant more humans would be brought here. It meant Ashir would die in the conditioning facility. There had to be another option. I will make you a deal, Owen said suddenly. Breivik laughed. You have nothing to bargain with. I have information, and I have proof. Owen pulled out the small recording device Dr. Sallen had given him. He had kept it hidden until now. This contains 3 years of security footage. Torture sessions. Illegal imprisonment of sentient species. Experiments that violate 17 Galactic Council laws. The color drained from Breivik's face. That is classified material. How did you get it? Someone with a conscience gave it to me. Owen held the device up. Right now, this is uploading to every communication satellite in range. In about 30 seconds, it will hit the galactic network. News agencies across 100 worlds will have it. Breivik's hand tightened on the detonator. You are lying. Am I? Owen tapped the device. A small light blinked green. There it goes. Upload complete. You can kill us all right now, Breivik, but it will not matter. The evidence is out there. The Galactic Council will investigate. They will find this facility. They will find the others. Your entire operation is finished. Silence filled the hangar. Guards looked at each other nervously. They had followed orders, but they were not stupid. If the Council got involved, everyone here would face trial. Breivik most of all. Breivik's hand shook. This is treason. This is justice, Owen countered. You have been torturing sentient beings for years. You were planning to enslave my entire species.
Did you really think there would be no consequences?
A new voice echoed through the hangar. Commandant Brevik, this is Admiral Corthan of the Galactic Council Third Fleet. We have received evidence of illegal activities at your facility. Stand down immediately and prepare for inspection. Brevik's eyes went wide. Ships were already approaching. The upload had worked faster than expected. Owen pressed his advantage. You have one chance here, let us go. Let all the prisoners go. Cooperate with the Council investigation. Maybe you will only spend 20 years in prison instead of the rest of your life. Brevik stared at the detonator in his hand. Every guard in the hangar watched him. The moment stretched impossibly long. Finally, Brevik lowered the device. Stand down, he told his guards. His voice was hollow. Defeated. The guards lowered their weapons. Ashir and the other dragons did not relax, but they stopped growling. Owen walked slowly toward the bay door controls. Open them, Brevik said quietly. Let them go. Owen activated the controls. Massive doors began to slide open. Cold air rushed into the hangar. Beyond, Owen could see stars and the lights of approaching ships. The Council fleet. Everyone into the transports, Owen called to the freed prisoners who had gathered in the hangar. Move quickly, but stay calm. People rushed toward the ships. There were 3 transport vessels large enough to carry everyone. The dragons helped load the injured and weak. Ashir stayed close to Owen, watching the guards for any sign of treachery. Within minutes, the transports were loaded. Owen climbed onto Ashir's back one more time. You are not taking a ship? Brevik asked. Dragons do not need ships, Owen replied. Ashir spread her wings. The other 5 dragons did the same. They launched into space with powerful beats of their wings. Behind them, the transports followed. Owen had never flown like this before. There was no cockpit, no controls, just Ashir's powerful body beneath him and the infinite void around them. He held onto her scales and trusted her completely. The council ships surrounded them quickly. Admiral Corthan's voice came through on an open channel. This is Admiral Corthan to all escaping vessels. You are under council protection. Proceed to the flagship for processing. Processing took hours. Council officials interviewed everyone separately. They collected statements and evidence. Dr. Sallin had been thorough. Her documentation was damning. Owen learned that Brevik and his entire command staff were arrested immediately. The facility would be shut down permanently. The other dragon prisons across 3 planets were already being raided. Admiral Corthan met with Owen personally. She was a stern woman with silver skin and kind eyes. You have created quite a situation, Mr. Reed. I did what was necessary, Owen said. Yes. You also violated several laws yourself. Breaking out of legal detention, theft of military property, inciting a riot. Owen waited for the punishment. Instead, Admiral Corthan smiled. However, given the circumstances, the Council has decided not to press charges. In fact, we would like to offer you a position as an ambassador for human-dragon relations. No, thank you, Owen said immediately. The Admiral raised an eyebrow. No? I appreciate the offer, but I am not a politician or a diplomat. I am just someone who did the right thing when I had the chance. Then what will you do? Owen looked out the window at Ashir and the other dragons. They were being treated by Council medical staff. Actually being treated, not experimented on. They looked peaceful. I have an idea, Owen said, but I will need a ship and some supplies. 6 months later, a new station appeared on the edge of civilized space. It was called Haven Station. The sign outside read, Where no one stands alone. Owen and Ashir ran the station together. They offered sanctuary to displaced species, especially dragons who had nowhere else to go. Slowly, other humans arrived. Some were adventurous. Some were running from their own problems. All of them learned what Owen had learned, that friendship and respect could bridge any divide. 3 more human-dragon pairs formed in those first months. Each partnership was unique. Each one was built on mutual choice and genuine care. Owen stood on the observation deck watching a newly arrived dragon meet a potential human partner. They were talking cautiously, learning about each other. It reminded him of his first meeting with Ashir. Ashir settled beside him. Her wound had healed completely. She looked healthy and strong again. You changed the galaxy, she said. We changed it, Owen corrected. I just treated a wound. You did the rest? You treated more than a wound. You treated me like a person when everyone else saw a monster or a weapon. Owen smiled. That is what humans do, or what we should do anyway. Ships came and went from Haven Station. Word spread about the place where species worked together instead of against each other. The Galactic Council watched with interest. Maybe this human approach to cooperation was worth studying. But Owen did not care about politics or grand visions. He cared about the individuals who came to Haven Station looking for help. Each one had a story. Each one deserved respect. As the sun set on another day, Owen realized something. He had started this journey as a simple cargo hauler trying to survive. Now he was part of something bigger. Not because he was special or chosen, simply because he had treated another being with basic kindness when no one else would. Sometimes, Owen thought, the smallest acts create the biggest changes. Ashir's wing settled gently over him like a blanket. They watched the stars together. Two unlikely friends who had found each other in the darkest place and brought light to countless others. Tomorrow, more people would arrive at Haven Station seeking sanctuary. Tomorrow there would be new challenges and new opportunities. But tonight Owen and Ashir simply existed together in peaceful silence. They had earned it.